3 in the morning. Parking lot. A man walks to his car. Footsteps behind him. He turns. 2 guys, one with a bottle blocking his path. No referee. No rules. No safe word. This is real. In that moment, only one thing matters. Does what you've been training actually work? There are hundreds of martial arts in the world. Thousands of schools. Millions of practitioners. But here's the brutal truth most people don't want to hear. Most martial arts will fail you when it counts. They look great in demonstrations. They feel empowering in class. But on the street, when violence erupts, they crumble. Today I'm going to cut through the noise, the marketing, the tradition, and the fantasy. I'm going to show you exactly which martial arts have been tested, proven, and validated in real combat. Not theory. Not kata. Not cooperative drills. Real fights. Real violence. Real results. This isn't about disrespecting any art. It's about truth. It's about functionality. It's about keeping you alive. So which martial arts actually work when your life is on the line? Let's find out. But first, we need to establish the criteria. How do we know if a martial art really works? It's not about what the instructor says. It's not about how old the tradition is. It's not about how many forms you memorize. A martial art works if it passes these 5 tests. Test 1. Does it have sparring against full resistance? If you're not regularly training against someone really trying to hit you, take you down, or submit you, you're not learning to fight. You're learning choreography. Real martial arts test their students under pressure constantly. Test 2. Does it have competitions that validate skills? Competition strips away illusion. You either make the technique work against a resisting opponent or you don't. There's no hiding. Arts with legitimate competition prove themselves again and again. Test 3. Has it produced documented effective fighters? Show me the champions. Show me the street fights where it worked. Show me the military and law enforcement adoption. If an art can't point to real-world success, it's theoretical at best. Test 4. Does it function under adrenaline and chaos? When fear kicks in, fine motor skills disappear. Your heart is pounding. Your vision narrows. You can't think clearly. Real martial arts train techniques that work even when you're terrified and exhausted. Test 5. Is it simple enough to execute under extreme stress? Complex techniques with 20 steps don't work in real violence. You need movements so ingrained, so fundamental, that your body executes them automatically when your brain is in survival mode. These 5 tests separate what works from what doesn't. And I'm going to show you the arts that pass every single one. Let's start with the martial art that has the most documented knockouts in history. Dim gym lighting, heavy bag swinging, sound of wrapped fists impacting leather. Sweat dripping. Focused breathing. This is where real fighters are made. Boxing. The sweet science. The oldest combat sport still practiced today. And arguably the most effective striking art for real fighting. Here's why boxing works. It does one thing better than any other martial art on earth. It teaches you how to punch and how to avoid being punched. Sounds simple, right? But the depth of boxing is extraordinary. A boxer throws hundreds of punches per training session. Thousands per week. Over a career, millions of punches. Each one refined, optimized, perfected. The jab. The cross. The hook. The uppercut. Simple tools, mastered to perfection. When a trained boxer hits you, it's not just a punch. It's physics. It's body mechanics. Hip rotation. Weight transfer. Kinetic chain from foot to fist. That punch carries enough force to shut your brain off. Literally. A clean shot to the chin rattles your brain inside your skull and the lights go out. But boxing isn't just about offense. The defensive skills are phenomenal. Head movement, slips, rolls, ducks. Footwork, angles, pivots, in and out. Blocking and parrying. A good boxer makes you miss, then makes you pay. That's the game. And here's something crucial. Boxing has brutal sparring. Not the light touch point fighting of some martial arts. Real sparring where you're trying to knock each other out, just with more control than a fight. This creates fighters who can handle pressure, who don't panic when punches start flying. Let me tell you a real story. UK 2015. A professional boxer, heavyweight, was walking home when 3 guys tried to rob him. They didn't know who he was. The boxer tried to walk away. They followed. One pulled a knife. The situation escalated. The boxer dropped all 3 in under 30 seconds. Clean punches. No wasted movement. 1 guy unconscious. 2 on the ground not wanting any more. The whole thing was captured on CCTV. When police arrived, they reviewed the footage and ruled it clear self-defense. Perfect example of boxing working exactly as it should in real violence. Boxing gives you instant stopping power. 1 punch can end a fight. That's invaluable on the street where you want to end the threat as quickly as possible and get out. The cardio conditioning from boxing is insane. Fighters can go hard for 3-minute rounds, multiple rounds because they train that way constantly. On the street, if a fight lasts more than 30 seconds, most people are gassed. Boxers are just getting started. The simplicity is beautiful. Under stress, when you can't think, your body knows what to do. Cross. It's embedded so deep that it becomes automatic. That's exactly what you need when adrenaline floods your system. But boxing isn't perfect. No art is. Let's talk about the limitations. Boxing has zero defense against kicks. If someone starts throwing low kicks at your thighs, boxing doesn't prepare you for that. Those kicks can cripple your mobility in seconds. Muay Thai fighters have embarrassed boxers in mixed rules fights by simply kicking their legs out from under them. Boxing has no ground game. If you get taken down by a wrestler or a judo player, your boxing does nothing for you down there. You're on your back, unable to generate punching power, and you have no idea how to get up or defend submissions. That's a critical gap. Boxing trains you to fight one person in a controlled environment. Square ring. One opponent. Referee. Rounds. The street has none of that structure. Multiple attackers, uneven ground, obstacles. Boxing alone doesn't prepare you for those variables. And here's a practical issue. Boxing relies on your hands. In the gym, you have gloves protecting your hands. On the street, you don't. Punching someone's skull can easily break your hand. Broken hand means you've lost your primary weapon. That's a real risk. So is boxing worth training? Absolutely yes. Your hands are always with you. They're your first line of defense. Having elite-level hand skills is incredibly valuable. But you need more tools in your toolbox. Which brings us to the art that adds everything boxing is missing. Early morning in Thailand. The sound of shins hitting pads echoes through the gym. Fighters wrapped in sweat, throwing elbows, knees, kicks. This is Muay Thai, the art of 8 limbs. If boxing is the best punching art, Muay Thai is the most complete striking art. Period. You have 8 weapons. 2 fists, 2 elbows, 2 knees, 2 shins. Every part of your body becomes a weapon. Let's start with the kicks. Muay Thai low kicks are absolutely devastating. A trained NAK Muay kicks with their shin, not the foot, the shin. And they condition those shins for years until the bone is dense like wood. When that shin crashes into your thigh, it's not like getting kicked. It's like getting hit with a baseball bat. I watched a street fight video from Amsterdam. A kickboxer, Muay Thai background, got into an altercation with a much bigger guy. The big guy was aggressive, stepping forward, probably used to intimidating people with size. The kickboxer stayed calm, kept distance, and threw one low kick. Just one. The big guy's leg buckled. His whole demeanor changed. He didn't want to fight anymore. One kick. That's the power of Muay Thai. You don't even need to knock someone out. A few good low kicks and they can barely stand. The fight is over. Then there's the clinch. This is where Muay Thai absolutely shines for street fighting. The clinch is close-range grappling while standing. You grab the opponent's head, control it, and deliver devastating knee strikes to the body and head. This is incredibly practical for real violence because most street fights end up in this close range, people grabbing, pushing, wrestling for position. A Muay Thai fighter in the clinch is terrifying. They control your head, which means they control your whole body. And while they control you, they're breaking your ribs with knees, smashing your face, destroying your will to fight. If you don't know how to defend the clinch, you're in serious trouble. Elbows are brutal. In close range, when you can't generate power with a punch, elbows do massive damage. They cut. They break bones. They knock people out. Muay Thai fighters use elbows like surgical instruments of destruction. The conditioning in Muay Thai is legendary. Fighters train 6 days a week, 2 to 3 hours per session. Running, shadowboxing, bag work, pad work, clinch training, sparring. By the time you're a competent Muay Thai fighter, your body is a machine. Your pain tolerance is high. Your cardio is through the roof. You don't quit. And critically, Muay Thai has full contact sparring. You're not playing tag. You're really hitting each other, really taking damage, really learning what works under pressure. That experience is invaluable. But Muay Thai has weaknesses too. The biggest one, limited takedown defense. Muay Thai fighters train to stay standing. They're not used to someone shooting for their legs like a wrestler. They don't practice sprawling or defending throws. If a skilled grappler gets hold of them, they're going to the ground whether they want to or not. And on the ground, traditional Muay Thai has nothing. No ground fighting curriculum. No submissions. No positional control. If you're on your back underneath someone, your Muay Thai arsenal is largely useless. Muay Thai also trains you to fight one person in a ring. The tactics don't translate perfectly to multiple opponents. When you're in the clinch with one guy landing knees, his friends can attack you freely. You're a stationary target locked in close combat with one person while others can hit you from blind spots. And like any martial art that competes under rules, there are habits that can be dangerous on the street. Muay Thai fighters are used to certain protections. No strikes to the back of the head, no soccer kicks to downed opponents, no weapons. The street has none of those protections. But despite these limitations, Muay Thai is phenomenally effective. The combination of punches, kicks, knees, elbows, and clinch work gives you tools for almost every range of striking combat. Add Muay Thai to boxing and you have elite-level striking covered. However, most fights don't stay standing. Which brings us to the art that changed fighting forever. Before we go there, drop a comment below and tell me which city you're watching from. I want to see where my community of real martial artists is located. Let me know where you're at. Now let's talk about the ground. 1993. Denver, Colorado. The first Ultimate Fighting Championship. A skinny Brazilian in a GI steps into the octagon against much larger opponents. Strikers, wrestlers, karate experts. Everyone expects the small guy to get destroyed. Instead, Royce Gracie submitted every single one of them, without throwing a punch. The world watched in shock as this gentle art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu dismantled bigger, stronger opponents through technique and leverage. That moment changed martial arts forever. Suddenly everyone realized, if you don't know what to do on the ground, you're in serious danger. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu works for several critical reasons. First, it equalizes size and strength. A smaller, skilled BJJ practitioner can control and submit a much larger person who doesn't know grappling. This isn't theory, it's been proven thousands of times. Technique and leverage beat raw strength when you know what you're doing. The mechanics are brilliant. On the ground, you're not trying to overpower your opponent with muscle. You're using their body weight against them. You're using leverage, angles, pressure. A properly applied rear naked choke doesn't require much strength, just correct positioning. And it puts anyone to sleep in seconds regardless of how big or strong they are. Second, BJJ gives you complete control. You can hold someone down without having to strike them. This is incredibly valuable in many real situations. Maybe you're breaking up a fight and need to restrain someone without hurting them. Maybe it's a drunk family member and you don't want to punch them. BJJ lets you control the situation without causing damage. Third, BJJ prepares you for the chaos of a real fight going to the ground. Most people have zero ground fighting experience. If they end up on their back with someone on top, they panic. They don't know what to do. A BJJ practitioner? That's their home. They're comfortable there. They know how to breathe, stay calm, reverse position, and finish the fight. Fourth, BJJ has regular live sparring called rolling. You're literally grappling against resistance every class. Someone is trying to choke you or break your arm, and you have to defend and counter. This creates real skill under real pressure. There's no faking it in BJJ. Either you can make the technique work against resistance or you can't. I know a police officer, BJJ purple belt, who used his skills dozens of times on the job. Controlling suspects without hurting them. De-escalating violence through control. He told me the confidence BJJ gave him was invaluable. He never felt helpless in close combat situations. But BJJ has serious limitations for street fighting. The ground is dangerous on the street. In the gym, you're rolling on clean, soft mats. On the street, the ground is concrete. It's dirty. There might be broken glass. Every second you spend on the ground is a risk. You're scraping your skin. You might hit your head. It's not a safe place to be. Even worse, on the ground, you're vulnerable to multiple attackers. This is critical. If you're on the ground finishing a submission on one guy, his friends can kick your head freely. You have no mobility. No ability to defend against additional threats. This is how people get seriously hurt or killed, winning against one person while others attack them. BJJ takes time. A good submission might take 20-30 seconds to fully lock in. On the street, every second counts. The longer the fight lasts, the more can go wrong. More people can show up. Police can arrive and misunderstand the situation. The person might have a weapon you didn't see. And many modern BJJ schools are very sport-focused. They teach techniques that work great in competition under rules but are questionable for the street. Pulling guard, jumping to your back intentionally, playing from bottom, sport-specific positions, these can be suicidal in real violence. So BJJ is essential, absolutely essential for real self-defense. You must know what to do if the fight goes to the ground. But you need to train it with a self-defense mindset, not just a sport mindset. And you need other skills to complement it. Which brings us to the art that decides where the fight happens. American high school gym. Wrestling mat. Two athletes collide with explosive force. The sound of impact. One is lifted and driven into the mat. Controlling, grinding, breaking the opponent's will through pure physical domination. Wrestling. Perhaps the oldest martial art in human history. And one of the most important for real fighting. Here's what makes wrestling so effective. Wrestlers control where the fight takes place. If a wrestler wants to take you down, you're going down. If a wrestler wants to stay standing, you're staying standing. That level of control is massive. Think about it. Most street fights end up on the ground anyway. Someone pushes, someone trips, both people fall. If you have wrestling skills, you choose when and how that happens. You're not hoping to stay standing, you can actually defend takedowns and stay on your feet if you want. Or you can take your opponent down at will and be on top, in control. Wrestling takedowns are devastating on the street. A double-leg takedown on concrete? The person hits the ground with tremendous force. Often the impact alone ends the fight. They hit their head, get the wind knocked out of them, and don't want to continue. I've seen videos where one wrestling takedown and the fight is over. The person is just done. The conditioning from wrestling is absolutely brutal. Wrestling practice is harder than almost any other sport. You're constantly drilling, live wrestling, pushing your body to its limits. Cutting weight, training when you're exhausted, competing when you're hurt. This forges an iron will. When you've survived wrestling practice, a street fight doesn't intimidate you the same way. And wrestling teaches you to impose your will through physical dominance. You learn to break people. Not with strikes, but with unrelenting pressure, superior positioning, and the refusal to let them do what they want. That mindset is incredibly valuable. The base you develop from wrestling is phenomenal. Balance, body awareness, ability to stay on your feet, ability to get up quickly if you fall, all of this is critical for real fighting. Wrestlers are so hard to knock down because their base is rock solid. Look at MMA. The vast majority of champions have wrestling backgrounds. Why? Because wrestling is the foundation everything else builds on. Add striking to wrestling, you have a complete fighter. Add submissions to wrestling, you're unstoppable. But wrestling alone has gaps. No striking. Wrestling doesn't teach you to punch or kick or defend against strikes. If you stay standing and trade blows with a boxer or Muay Thai fighter, wrestling hasn't prepared you for that. You'll eat punches you don't know how to defend. Even worse, many wrestlers have the instinct to lower their head and shoot for legs when threatened. In wrestling practice with headgear, that's fine. On the street, dropping your head leaves you open to knees, guillotines, getting your head stomped. It's a dangerous habit. Wrestling gives you control but not finishes. You can take someone down, get on top, control them. Then what? If you're just holding them but don't know how to choke them unconscious or break something, you're stuck. And if you're stuck, his friends have time to intervene. The wrestling rule set also creates some habits that don't translate to the street. In wrestling, you can't strike. You can't do certain submissions. You're not defending against bites, eye gouges, groin strikes. The street has all of that. But despite these limitations, wrestling is absolutely fundamental for real fighting. The ability to control where the fight happens, to take people down at will, to get up easily if you fall, these skills are invaluable. Wrestling is a must-train art for serious self-defense. Now let's talk about wrestling's close cousin, another grappling art with a different flavor. Japan. Dojo with traditional tatami mats. Two practitioners in GI grab each other looking for grips. Suddenly, one is airborne, flying through space, crashes onto the mat with tremendous impact. This is judo. Judo is the art of throwing. And on the street, throwing someone onto concrete is absolutely devastating. Here's why judo works. In real altercations, people grab each other. They grab clothing, arms, shoulders. They push and pull. This is exactly what judo trains for. Every throw in judo starts from grips, and every throw is designed to work against resistance. The beauty of judo for street fighting is that it works with clothes. Most self-defense situations, people are wearing jackets, shirts, coats. Perfect for judo grips. A skilled judoka can grab your collar or sleeve and throw you through the air before you understand what happened. And the throws are brutal. In judo competition, you're landing on mats. Still hurts, but survivable. On concrete? A hard judo throw can cause serious injury. Broken bones. Concussion. Severe trauma. There are documented cases of single judo throws ending street fights with the attacker unable to continue. Judo also includes ground fighting nawaza. Pins, chokes, arm locks. Not as extensive as BJJ's ground game, but solid fundamentals. A judoka knows how to control someone on the ground and finish with a choke if needed. The training methodology of judo is excellent. Lots of randori, free practice where you're really trying to throw each other. You can't fake judo. Either you can throw a resisting opponent or you can't. This creates genuine skill. And there's something about the confidence of knowing you can pick someone up and slam them into the ground. It's a different kind of power than striking. It's physical dominance. It breaks the opponent's spirit. I know a woman, 50 years old, 5'3", who trained judo for self-defense. A man grabbed her aggressively in a parking lot. She executed a perfect ogashi hip throw and dropped him onto the asphalt. He landed hard, got up slowly, and left without another word. Her years of training clicked in automatically. But judo has limitations for the street. The sport rules have limited some techniques. For example, leg grabs are now banned in judo competition. This means many modern judoka don't have great defense against wrestling-style takedowns. They're used to upper body grips only. Judo doesn't train striking. No punches, no kicks, no elbows. If you need to defend against strikes or throw strikes yourself, judo hasn't prepared you for that. And like BJJ, going to the ground intentionally on the street is risky. Some judo techniques end with both people on the ground. That's not ideal if there are multiple attackers or the environment is dangerous. But overall, judo is highly effective. The throwing skills alone make it worth training. Combined with other arts, it's extremely powerful. A judoka with boxing skills? Incredibly dangerous. They can throw hands at range and throw your whole body up close. Now we've covered striking and grappling separately. But what if you train an art that combines everything? Octagon under bright lights. Two fighters face each other. The bell rings. Punches fly. Kicks land. A takedown. Ground fighting. Submission attempt. Skip. Back to feet. This is MMA mixed martial arts. MMA is the most complete fighting system we have because it combines everything that works. You need striking, boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing. You need takedowns, wrestling, judo. You need ground fighting, BJJ. MMA forces you to be well-rounded. The reason MMA works so well is simple. It's constantly tested against the widest variety of attacks. You can't succeed in MMA with just one skill. A pure boxer gets taken down and submitted. A pure grappler gets knocked out before they can close distance. You have to have answers for everything. MMA fighters train to fight in all ranges. Long-range kicks, mid-range punches, close-range clinch, knees, elbows, ground submissions, ground and pound. This versatility is massive for real fighting because you never know what range the fight will be at. The training methodology is brutal but effective. Regular hard sparring, both striking and grappling. You're getting hit for real. You're getting taken down for real. You're fighting for real, just with some safety measures. This creates fighters who know what actually works under pressure. The conditioning of MMA fighters is incredible. Cardio, strength, explosiveness, flexibility, everything is trained. A well-conditioned MMA fighter can fight hard for 5-minute rounds. Most street fights last under 30 seconds before someone gasses. MMA fighters are just getting warmed up. And MMA has produced documented results. We've seen 30 years of fights showing what works and what doesn't. The techniques that survive in modern MMA are there because they've been tested thousands of times against high-level opponents. The evolution of MMA has been a real-time laboratory showing us the most effective martial arts. But even MMA isn't perfect for street fighting. MMA still has rules. No eye gouges. No strikes to the back of the head. No soccer kicks to downed opponents. No groin strikes. No weapons. The street has none of these restrictions. If you've trained for years under MMA rules, you might hesitate to break those rules, even when your life depends on it. MMA trains you 1 versus 1. Always. You never practice against multiple opponents. You never train for scenarios where you need to fight off one person while being aware of others. Multiple attackers require completely different tactics. MMA doesn't train weapon defense. Nobody pulls a knife or gun in MMA. But in the street, weapons are a real threat. And your MMA training alone doesn't prepare you for that. The training can be too hard for many people. MMA gyms often have high injury rates because of the intensity. If your goal is self-defense but you're injured half the time from training, that's not ideal. But despite these limitations, MMA is probably the single best martial art for overall fighting ability. If you can only train one thing and you want to be as prepared as possible, find a good MMA gym. Now, before we wrap up, let me quickly mention some other arts worth considering. Kyokushin Karate. This is the version of karate that actually works. Full contact sparring, hard conditioning, powerful strikes. It's legit. Not as complete as Muay Thai but respectable. Sanda, also called Sanzho. This is Chinese kickboxing with takedowns. Basically Muay Thai plus wrestling. If you find a good Sanda school, it's very effective. Sambo. Russian martial art combining judo-style throws with leg locks and submissions. Highly effective grappling system. Many successful MMA fighters have Sambo backgrounds. Luta livre. Brazilian submission wrestling without the GI. Similar to catch wrestling. Effective grappling art. All of these have real sparring, real competition, and documented results. They work. Now, let's talk about the reality that most people don't want to face. No single martial art makes you complete. I know that's not what people want to hear. They want the magic bullet, the one art that handles everything. It doesn't exist. You need striking. If you can't punch or kick effectively, you have a huge gap. Boxers and Muay Thai fighters can knock you out before you touch them. You need takedown skills. If you can't defend takedowns or do them yourself, wrestlers will control you completely. You need ground fighting. Most fights end up on the ground. If you don't know BJJ or submission grappling, you're helpless down there. The ideal combination for street self-defense? Here's what I recommend. Option 1. Train MMA at a reputable gym. You'll get striking, takedowns, and ground fighting all integrated together. It's the most efficient path to being well-rounded. Option 2. Train two arts that complement each other. Boxing plus BJJ is excellent. Muay Thai plus wrestling. Judo plus boxing. Pick one striking art and one grappling art and get good at both. Option 3. Start with one fundamental art and add others over time. Maybe start with boxing for a year, get solid striking skills, then add BJJ for ground fighting. Build your skill set progressively. But here's the critical part. Whatever you train must include regular sparring against resistance. I can't stress this enough. No amount of drilling techniques on cooperative partners prepares you for real fighting. You must train against people really trying to hit you, take you down, submit you. And remember this, the street is not the cage. The street is not the ring. The street is unpredictable, chaotic, and extremely dangerous. On the street there can be multiple attackers. Your art might work great one-on-one, but 3 people attacking you at once? Completely different game. You need to be aware, mobile, ready to run. On the street there can be weapons. Knives, guns, bottles, bats. A person with a knife can kill you regardless of your martial arts skills. Weapon defense is its own complex topic, but understand this. Even the best martial artist is at huge risk against weapons. On the street, the terrain is unpredictable. Slippery floors, stairs, walls, cars, uneven ground. You can't move the same way you do in a gym. On the street, there are severe legal consequences. Even if you win the fight, you might face criminal charges. You might get sued. The legal aftermath of violence can destroy your life even if you were defending yourself. This is why I always say, the best self-defense is avoiding violence altogether. The hierarchy of self-defense is this. Level 1, awareness. Pay attention to your surroundings. Notice potential threats early. Most violence can be avoided if you see it coming and make different choices. Level 2, avoidance. Don't be in dangerous places. Don't hang around dangerous people. Don't go to sketchy areas late at night. Simple avoidance eliminates most risk. Level 3, de-escalation. If a situation starts getting tense, use verbal skills to calm it down. Apologize even if you're not wrong. Leave your ego at home. Most confrontations can be talked down if you're willing to swallow your pride. Level 4, escape. If violence seems inevitable, run. There's no shame in running. Run fast, run far, call police. Running is smart, not cowardly. Level 5, physical combat. This is the absolute last resort. Only when you can't avoid, can't de-escalate, can't escape. And even then, your goal is to create an opportunity to escape, not to win the fight. All the martial arts training in the world doesn't make you bulletproof. It gives you options, skills, confidence. But the best fighters know when not to fight. So let's recap everything we've covered. The martial arts that work in real fighting are the ones with full contact sparring, legitimate competition, and documented results. Boxing gives you the best hands in the world. Devastating punching power and elite defensive skills. Muay Thai gives you complete striking with 8 weapons. Kicks, knees, elbows, clinch dominance. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gives you complete ground control. Ability to submit anyone regardless of size. Wrestling gives you takedown dominance. You control where the fight happens. Judo gives you devastating throws that can end fights with one technique. MMA combines everything into the most well-rounded fighting system we have. These arts work because they're tested constantly under pressure. They produce real fighters who can handle real violence. But remember, no art makes you invincible. The street is different from sport. And the best self-defense is intelligent awareness and avoiding violence whenever possible. Train hard. Train smart. But more importantly, train your awareness and judgment. The fight you avoid is the fight you win. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, 1. Which martial art do you currently train or want to train? 2. What city are you watching from? Let me know where you're at. 3. What do you think is the best combination for street self-defense? I read every comment and I love hearing from the community. Let's start a real discussion about what works. If this video gave you valuable information about effective martial arts, hit that like button. It helps this content reach more people who need real information, not fantasy and marketing. Subscribe to the channel because we're going deeper into real combat training. Next video, the biggest mistakes people make in street fights, and how to avoid them. Remember this above all. Train what works. Test your skills honestly. But fight only when there's no other choice. The strongest fighter is the one wise enough to walk away. Until next time, train smart and stay safe.